Aloha, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a tutorial on what is the best, or what I feel like is the best effective way of parrying. I got a request for this, and I thought that it was actually kind of interesting, so I wanted to indulge in it. Parrying, what I would recommend if you're trying to learn how to parry and you want to be more successful at parrying, the timing can be a little bit rough. In Demon Souls, which was the predecessor to this game, it's a little bit easier to time out. But here what I'm going to teach you is the proper steps for parrying. First of all, I would never try to parry an enemy whose attack pattern you don't fully understand. And by that I mean, just know what your enemy is capable of. So just hold up a shield, preferably one with, like, a greater stability or a high block radius. That way you get to see how the enemy attacks, and then same thing, try to bait an attack and get out of range. That way you get to see the timings on when they come down, because that's what you're going to need. Now, when you feel like you understand his attack pattern well enough, try blocking at the last possible second. Alright, I need to get him down on the solid ground, because on a stairwell this is not going to be fun. That's another thing. I would not try to parry on a stairwell. Timings can be awkward, or attacks can miss. Alright, I'm backing myself into a corner there. That's cute. So stage 2 of it, I would say, is try blocking at the last possible second that you can manage. And the point of this is that way you don't take any damage, but you still get to see how close it can get before it hits you. And as you can see, he's barely doing anything to me. Then stage 3 is basically try to let him hit you. And what a parry is you are interrupting your enemy's swing. So as he swings, you're knocking his attack away every time. So the easier way is basically let the attack come as close to you as you feel comfortable with, and then tap your L2 attack, or your L2 with your shield. Now this is not... oh gosh. Ah! I'm confused because I've never tested out the parrying dagger. Certain items like this parrying dagger do give you a little bit of leniency. As you can see there, I just instantly, just now, you can't do anything. Now, the problem is that that's not always going to be the case. Where sometimes if you're playing with a bigger, heavier weapon, such as this weapon, which is called Grant, which this character does not have the proper stats for, parrying can be kind of annoying because, as you can see, my view is slightly blocked. So generally, if you're going for parry, you're going to want to be playing with a crit weapon, which this weapon is actually not a crit weapon. So things like a dagger, or the nail breaker has that crit chance right there. That's what you want to look for, is generally the better. Not to say that Grant cannot parry, because even though I don't have the sets to wield it, I can still do some 24 damage to him, and it's all good. And then just same thing. The advantages to critting are obviously that you are not only stopping their attack, but you're counter-attacking it. And this game is very lenient that the counter-attacks that they do in this are still animations. Now, that does not mean that if you're getting hit by 2 or 3 guys, your parry and riposte, your parry and riposte will always go through. That is... jeez, of course I'm pickups now. That is not always true. If you're being attacked from multiple things... I mistimed that pretty terribly. Now, I find stabs the hardest thing to parry and the least amount of fun, because they are meant to be a quick attack. I like these broad sweeping attacks, or the overly predictable attacks, and that is what a parry is meant for. Is that if you're a very defensive player and you run around with your shield up all the time, certain attacks like this one, where he, carries his backhand very far. So there, I mistimed it. Now, so, here's the disadvantages to it, is that, take off all my armor real quick. No, don't take off that ring. Is that if you parry too soon, you're going to take the damage. And if you parry too late, you'll take a reduced damage, but it's not very dependable. So sometimes what you need to do is, you know, when this happens and you're just taking too much damage, back away, heal up, get your shield up, bait out the attack that you're looking for. And you do have a small window, which is kind of an unfortunate thing. And what's also annoying to me, something that I dislike, is that you cannot kick. Oops. You actually might be able to kick. I need to test this out now. I hate those giant attacks. So there, that was actually not a riposte. That was just a parry, and then the rapier's guard break, which is a downward attack. However, there is a suit of armor in the game called the Katarina set. Obviously, I always call it the Onion Knight set. But it says that it actually increases your chance of parrying. Katarina leggings. And there are some small, like, there are shields that can parry as well, such as your smaller shields, such as, like, the target shield, will also say, shield's less stable, but, landing criticals after parrying is easier. The shield is specialized for parrying. So you can actually make a full-on parry build, whether it be with the parrying dagger, or, you know, an actual, like, just a light shield. I'm not a big fan of the target shield just because of the defenses on it are terrible. Highlighting this section right here, all of those are pretty bad. I mean, fire's like, yeah, it's okay. Lightning being 50, you're probably not going to find too many shields better than that. But it's decent. Get rid of that heavy load. What else? You can parry with certain weapons as well, which I've not gone over, so I'm going to stick with the shield for the moment. And then the increased chance of parry. And this will also help you get your timings down better. This character is actually like kind of a mixed spellcaster, so let's see what other weapon would be. This Balder side sword I'm a huge fan of, and also note that not all daggers in the game, just because it's considered a dagger. Now, like this parrying dagger has an increased chance. It has an increased critical damage, so that can make it a very useful dagger. You go down one, this dagger has an increased chance, but it's also slashing, which is not the same as thrust. So there is different damage types. For instance, most armors in the game are going to resist this slash damage, and even though it has a critical, it is a critical on slash damage, which is not going to be as nearly powerful as a parrying dagger. Now, obviously, this one's super upgraded, so the base damage is higher, and the crit is slightly higher as well. But overall, you know, this is probably going to actually do a little bit more because it's thrust versus the slash. And then this is this is actually considered a dragon weapon. You have to cut off a dragon's tail for it. But notice that right here, even though it does 120 damage, again, it's still slash, and the critical, it has no critical. So just because it's a dagger doesn't mean that it was always going to have that extra crit chance. To my knowledge, the only weapons that have increased crit damage, though, are daggers and rapiers, or rapiers, however you wish to pronounce it. So, like, your Mailbreaker, then there's the one called the rapier, but then the Estoque, which is the longest reaching of the thrusting sword class, does not have that critical increase. And then Ricard's rapier is considered like kind of like a unique rapier, and it also does not have a thrust attack as well. That was my weapon of choice. I have fallen in love with this weapon, although this thing is confusing as balls to explain, so I'm not going to. So yeah, we'll do the claw, which does not have a critical. Yeah, it does not have a critical. So what we'll do is we'll do the claw. Very nice looking weapon. I actually really like it, although the moveset for it is slightly sloppy. It can be a lot of fun, or you can take some people off guard with it. So first we're going to get rid of anybody that is not going to be parryable. And that's the other thing. You're going to want to make sure that you can... Oh, that was a terrible parry. And see, as you can see, even though I have everything available to me that is increasing my chance to parry, a parry is not 100% guaranteed. So there's my parry. Oops, let's see if I can do this guy. So there's my parry, and he's going to hit me. Okay, I didn't get it off in time. And my super upgraded claws are going to kill too fast, because this character has a lot of dex. That should give you a basic idea that, you know, even with the super parrying armor on, your parries are not guaranteed. And again, there's certain things like this rat which are not parryable, or at least I've never been able to parry them. So don't assume just because you can parry certain things that everything's going to be parryable. And there I got poisoned, so neutralize him. Although this character has plenty of vitality, I shouldn't have to worry about that. And actually, I have enough moss. Problem solved. But we'll come up to our next, you know, villains, and it's one of those things. Parrying is, in my opinion, one of the most unfun things to learn. I never grabbed the rubbish in this file. I think I was racing to catch up to a friend. So there you can see that I was not able to parry like any of those strikes, and then the moment I leave that, I'm just parrying non-stop. And sometimes, like, if you're not comfortable, just keep tapping L2, and you're basically bound to parry eventually. Although, not always. And then, obviously, if you run out of stamina, you can't do anything. Oh, wow, okay, so I did not realize that, the parrying effect actually does make you invulnerable. That's a bit unfair. But yeah, basically wait as long as you possibly can. Basically wait for the item to hit you. If you're not comfortable, practice just putting up your shield at the last possible second. Because the moment that their attack makes contact with your shield, even if I let go of the button, your shield will be held up for the duration of the contact. And then another thing is that if you get this Katarina set, which I'll show off in a later video, I just haven't gotten there in my playthrough, so before I jump too far ahead. And no, you do not get it off of killing somebody, you buy it from a vendor. But it's just a matter of waiting. I don't know how many times I can say that, so I'm going to stop saying that. You can parry, though, barehanded, so I have nothing in my... nothing right now, so I can just punch. But this is also... Whoops, I'm going to kick it. But that's also where I'm actually a bigger fan of work on your kicks more than anything, because you'll find this more valuable PvP, which PvP, a little bit of lag, trying to parry is nearly lethal. Usually people wear a piece of the Katarina set. Oh, well, hello. Another one came to play. But yes, you can parry one-handed, or with nothing in either hand. Certain weapons, so... watch you use the claw in that hand. What did I want to show off? Oh, it's curved swords. Curved swords are the... Alright, you guys need to stop that. Pretty soon you're going to knock me off the ledge. I'm not going to be happy about that. I believe the curved swords in this you can counter with as well, or parry with. What do I need up here? Okay, you guys are actually starting to hurt. Yep, there we go. Still have the counter. So don't consider yourself 100% limited to... Bye, Jack. What's going on, and actually I want that attack. I need that attack again. You can parry a guy while they're in the midst of one of their combos. It's not one of the more fun things to do, but I mean that's all a parry is. It just interrupts their attack. So just stand in front. There we go. Nice and easy. And then, so without the armor to confuse what's going on, wait last possible second, and parry. Well, I hope this is helpful, and if you have any other questions, please let me know. This was actually a pretty fun video to do. Although I do feel like I said the same thing over and over again. But nonetheless, I got to show off, you know, what the claws look like. The Painted Guardian Sword, which is just your curved sword animation, just gorgeous though. And it can be a little bit confusing too, because if you're fighting somebody who's never seen that, they won't know what to do with that. They'll just be like, what the heck did you just do? That looked awesome. Now, it's not true that every weapon also has. I just realized that not every weapon... Darn it, that's the wrong hand. Not every weapon is going to have a parrying effect to it. I actually don't know if Ricard's Rapier does or not. Nope. So, Ricard's Rapier... Or maybe that's the Balder Side Sword. The Balder Side Sword? I don't know what that is. I don't know what I just equipped. Yeah, it's the Balder Side Sword. So the Balder Side Sword, the L2 becomes actually an overhand attack, and then the L1 is a block. I'm not a big fan of dual wielding, so you'll almost never see me do it. Oh wow, Ricard's Rapier does have a parry. Ooh, I need to test this out. No, bad. Where is he? Oh, there you are. Ooh, wow, that's so fast. Bah! Alright, I kind of don't like that because of how fast it is, but maybe it has an increased chance of... Yeah, that's really fast. Kinda don't... To me, Ricard's Rapier, I don't know why you would equip it in your left hand. But yeah, the game's also slightly lenient. You do not have to be targeting. It's just a matter of stopping him from attacking. Okay, that's actually kind of nice in a sense of how fast it is. I don't like it because I find the timing on it more difficult. Ow. Okay, stop that. Stop. I said stop. Stop that. Bad panda. So, yeah, again, I hope this was some type of helpful to you. If not, please let me know, and I will do my best to do something further. But until next time, thank you for watching, and ta-ta.